In this training, we'll learn how ABCCM values and protects the privacy and confidentiality of the individuals we serve. We'll explore the difference between protected health information and sensitive information. We'll also learn when it's appropriate and necessary to share confidential information and how to obtain a client's written consent to release that information before doing so. In the spirit of serving our neighbors in the name of Christ, ABCCM is committed to treating each person we encounter with dignity and respect. This includes being respectful of one's personal story and their right to privacy. All information ABCCM obtains over the course of serving an individual will be kept confidential and shared only when appropriate and necessary. In cases of protected health information, we will first obtain the individual's signed consent before sharing that information with others. When we talk with other ABCCM staff and volunteers about a person we're serving, we'll endeavor to do so in a spirit of love and respect. We'll only share health information with supervisors or other providers as it relates to the client's treatment or safety. This means that we refrain from gossip about clients. When talking with volunteers about clients we serve, it's important to model the right way to discuss a client. We'll always ensure our conversations about clients are necessary, appropriate, and respectful, and that we never discuss clients using their names or other identifiers when others may be able to overhear our conversation. HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This is federal legislation governing the way healthcare providers use and share patient information. With the exception of the medical ministry, all other ABCCM programs are not considered healthcare programs. This means that the bulk of HIPAA legislation does not apply to ABCCM's programs and services. However, ABCCM's confidentiality and privacy policies intentionally mirror many HIPAA regulations. Protected health information, also referred to as PHI, is any information that's related to an individual's healthcare, whether physical or mental, past, present, and future. It includes diagnoses, treatment, medication, and any other information related to care. It also includes care for substance abuse. ABCCM treats this type of information with the utmost care for confidentiality and privacy. This information is never to be shared outside of ABCCM without the client's expressed written consent. Protected health information is a combination of two categories of information. The first is personally identifiable information. This is information that can be used to identify someone, such as their name, address, social security number, phone number, and even their email address. The second category is health information, such as a medical diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis, information about a person's disability, medication prescribed to that person, their HIV or AIDS status, even accommodations they require at home or at work. When information from these two categories are combined, it's considered protected health information. A person's name, Ann Smith, for example, isn't confidential information. A mental health diagnosis, such as bipolar disorder, also isn't in and of itself confidential. However, when these two are combined, Ann Smith has a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. This is now considered protected health information, or PHI, and cannot be disclosed or shared without written consent from Ann Smith. Now that we've defined PHI, let's learn when we can share and disclose this type of information. A client has a right to their own information. Therefore, you can always disclose PHI to the individual it concerns. Many clients would prefer that others not know that they're receiving services from ABCCM or that they're homeless or struggling financially. Assure them that ABCCM has secure measures in place so that this type of information is only shared as directed by them. ABCCM operates as a team, and you may share information about clients with your colleagues at ABCCM without the client signing additional releases of information. Just be sure that it's necessary and appropriate for you to share the information with your colleague. If you're sharing the information with a colleague to ensure safety, improve services, or access supportive services directly related to the client, then it's appropriate. However, if you're sharing the information about a client with a colleague to gossip, complain, or make general conversation, then it's inappropriate, and you should refrain from doing so. You can disclose PHI to other individuals and entities outside of ABCCM only if the client has signed a release of information for that specific information to be released to that specific individual or entity, and in no other case. There are circumstances when it's appropriate, necessary, and legal for you to disclose PHI to courts of law, law enforcement, and welfare agencies, but you should always consult with your supervisor before doing so. A release of information, or ROI, is a legal document authorizing an individual or entity, in this case ABCCM, to disclose PHI to another individual or entity. Only the individual or legal representative of the individual can authorize ABCCM to disclose their PHI. The disclosure is limited to the specific information and purpose specified on the ROI document. An individual can revoke their authorization at any time, and ABCCM must honor their decision. If this should occur, the word revoked should be written across the ROI document and the date that the client revoked the ROI. You should never have a client sign a blank ROI. The client should always know and permit the specific information to be released and to whom the information will be released. Some of our clients share the same name. That's why it's important to write the full name of the client on the ROI and the last 4 digits of the client's Social Security number. This ensures we won't mix up clients and release the wrong client's information. Before you disclose information about a client to someone outside ABCCM, first ask yourself, is the information I'm about to share linked to a client? And if so, can a reasonable person connect the information to a specific client? Is the information I'm about to share related to the client's health in any way? Is it necessary and appropriate for me to share this information? Will sharing the information help me serve this client, assist with achievable goals, or coordinate their care? Do I have the written permission of the client in the form of a completed, signed ROI to disclose this specific information to this specific person or entity? If you're unsure of the answers to these questions, you should consult with your supervisor before disclosing any information. Now, let's discuss sensitive information. We actually deal with more sensitive information than we do with protected health information, or PHI. Sensitive information can be things like Social Security numbers, bank account numbers, financial information like budgets and income, names and addresses of survivors of domestic violence, criminal background information, and even a veteran's character of discharge or other details of their military service. While none of this information is considered protected health information, and an ROI is not needed to disclose this information, ABCCM is still committed to protecting the privacy of the clients we serve. You may need to explain to participants the difference between specific health information and information on shared community databases like Charity Tracker, such as information on demographics and eligibility criteria. Here are some of the ways we at ABCCM protect the privacy and confidentiality of the clients we serve. Client information should be kept in a locking drawer or behind a closed, locked door. Access to these spaces should be controlled, and unauthorized personnel should never have unsupervised access. Digital information kept on your computer should also be safeguarded. When you're away from your computer, be sure your screen is locked and password protected. If you're in a public space, be sure your screen isn't visible to others. If you send an email containing sensitive client information to someone outside of ABCCM, make sure it's encrypted. It's always a good idea to double-check the recipient line of the email to verify you've selected the right person before clicking send. Again, only disclose sensitive information if it's both necessary and appropriate. If you're unsure, ask your supervisor. For some disclosures, it's a good idea to verify with the client that it's okay if you share this information with someone else. If anything is abnormal about the disclosure, or if you have doubts or concerns about sharing the information, consult your supervisor first. Let's review. ABCCM's policies and procedures aren't intended to make your job harder or create more paperwork. We truly care about the clients we serve, and we want to protect their information and respect their right to privacy. These policies and procedures allow us to better serve our community. Before sharing protected health information outside of ABCCM, you must ensure there is a signed release of information on record for the release of that specific information to that specific person or entity. How would you want someone to handle your health information or sensitive information? Keep that in mind when you're trusted with a client's information. Whenever we talk about clients, whether it's with colleagues or volunteers at ABCCM or with others outside the ministry, we should always communicate in a way that reflects the heart of ABCCM, with love, respect, and a spirit of service. Your supervisor is available to answer any questions you have about ABCCM's policies. If you're ever unsure of how to handle client information, you should ask your immediate supervisor.